Kia ora, welcome back to another episode of Sharpen Up, brought to you by Beard Brothers and Groove Bar. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on all our social media. We had another great weekend of sport e te whanau, and our manuhiri for today is Whatanui Flavell. Kia ora, bro, mihi ana kia koe. Thank you for joining us, especially after a big weekend that you just had, the Matatoa Māori CrossFit competition, which you and your whanau run. Congratulations on that. First of all, how was it?
Yeah, mihi ana kia koutou I tono mai I au, kia hara mai ki tēnei kaupapa. Yeah, it was overwhelming. I'm knackered, tired, but it was such a cool kaupapa to see Māori by the hundreds sort of celebrating health and well-being. It was me. It was wicked, yeah.
And it's the fourth year of the competition. You and your whānau have taken over. It was founded by the Kapakingi whānau. So what was that like, I guess, taking over from them and now running it down in Kirikiriroa this year?
Yeah, just trying to continue the kaupapa because we saw the value in, like, it's affected my whānau and our relationship with sort of functional fitness. The first CrossFit competition, I was a bit of a snob, but the first comp that I went to was actually my partner competing in the first mātātoa. The second mātātoa, I competed in it myself.
Nice.
And then the third one, I helped with all the organisation of it. And so trying to take it over was to maintain the kaupapa and try and take it to, add our own flavour to it. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun, heaps of challenges. Me and my sister, we've never run an event, let alone a massive event like that. So there were heaps of challenges, but yeah, it was good fun.
Bro, taki pātai tuatahi. I do a lot of kaupapa with my sister too. What was the biggest challenge or whirl working with your sister?
I was seeing myself in her. She'd answer me in the way that I'd answer myself and go, oh, I don't like that. But there wasn't. I mean, the most difficult thing is that she's based down in Kirikiriroa and I'm based up here. And so trying to get things done. And then also I'm running my own business up here and she's got 2 gyms down in Kirikiriroa. So we both had lives outside of trying to run this organisation, this competition, and it's all voluntary.
We know all about mahi aroha, bro.
Just like this potty, mahi aroha.
But we still turn up.
True. So, yeah, and how kore I ki te ai, or how te kura huna ki te kore I roto I tēnei kaupapa? Saying, you started it. I think I was there watching that first one and it was the hype. And what have you guys seen? Like, how te tino hua o tēnei kaupapa?
Well, it's the impact on whānau, like if you to attend on the weekend, you'd see tamariki running around, watching their parents compete at a, somewhere at a high level, somewhere that was the first CrossFit or functional fitness. I'm not allowed to call it CrossFit, by the way. They're really strict about that.
Someone in the States will be going, yeah. That's another bill. That's another bill.
Functional fitness. But it's just to see the multiple generations arrive to watch their parents, their brothers, their sisters, and there were a whole lot of people who came with their own kaupapa, the passing of someone. They may have lost someone may not be able to move as well as they used to be able to. So there were multiple kaupapa, and they were there just to celebrate. It's the one space, I suppose, where they could do functional fitness and be proud to be Māori on that floor.
And it's been incredible to see, I think, it grow over the years. And Joe, you saying that you couldn't even get a spot in.
Oh, sorry,
Cus, you got to blame those Gizzy fellas, man.
I thought our hononga to Ngāti Rangi Wewehi could have automatic entry for any whanaunga that's from there. But it's like we had a whātua team in last year, and I was saying last week that they enjoyed their time in the competition, and then from that there's been break-off groups to carry on that CrossFit or functional fitness journey, which has been awesome. But I haven't done a mātātoa yet, but just done a few other team comps and just seeing the amount of Māori and Pacific, our Pacific people competing in those mainstream comps. I think it's just awesome to see, because I guess at the start that sort of movement stuff or competitions was just seen as as our Pākehā or
I think, Ngāti Whātua is an example of last year they had a big group who came and competed at Mātātoa, and then now they have their own functional fitness gym up at the Pā, which is pretty incredible. And so it's like that, it's planting seeds, and then the next year, like me and my whanau, the first year, never stepped into a CrossFit gym. Second year, competing myself. Third year, organising. It's just trying to start that within whānau.
And te whanakitanga, bro, like, ko te taime kua kite au, because I know nothing about functional movement. I've been into a few gyms, but what I've seen on social media, bro, is kua whaka Māori koutou i ngā wero, i ngā momo wero. Koro mai mō tērā, i ahu mai tērā i hea, tapu muho ko ngā koro no tainui waka i pēhea tō koutou whai wāhi ki aua kōrero. Koro mai mō tērā whea ko, bro.
Yeah, so ko aku mahi he mahi, storytelling me. He had tuku i ngā kōrero ki te ao. And so when we took over the kaupapa, I sort of thought, okay, how can I impact the competition? Through storytelling, that's what I do, through media. But me and my sister agreed that we wanted to make each workout unique and give it a flavour, give it a story. So what we did was the first workout, we talked about Te Papanui, which is the name of the land that the Claudelands Arena stands on. We did a bit of research with people from Waikato. They told us Ngāti Waireru, the iwi, or the hapu, and they gave us the purpose behind what that whenua was used for, and then the workouts were adapted to the purpose of that whenua back in the day. And then the other 3 workouts, there was one that talks about tō nuitanga, which is the first years of arrival from the tainui waka. And so we use the workout. So for example, the beginning of that workout, they go for a 675 metre run, and at the end of the workout, they come back and do another 675 metre run. You add those together, 1350. That's around the year that the tainui waka arrived. So it's just trying to put subtle injections of that story into each workout. We had Raupatu, was another workout, the third one, and that sort of encouraged our competitors not to let go of the bar, as if it was, their tupuna not letting go of whenua, I suppose. And then the last one was ka ora tonu, following off of what Tariki Nui said last week at te koroneihana, and also what Hana said during the hikoi, was that we're sick of fighting. Let's look at improving and thriving. So that's sort of the injection of stories into those workouts, so that people were, get to understand, I suppose, the depth and the intention behind all the movements that we put to the workouts.
Yeah. And when I was doing my research, when I was reading about all of that, I was like, wow, that's incredible, because you get to do that, but also learn about the history and everything. Who decides the workouts of the day, and is that you and your team doing that? Or
we've got a
do you decide?
Someone who knows how to do CrossFit. We've got
GPT.
We had a head programmer, Ducky.
Right.
He's an OG when it comes to CrossFit, functional fitness. So we were real lucky to have him in our core team, and he did it. He's been carrying a shoulder injury for about 2 years, so he took it out on all the competitors by designing workouts that were pretty tough.
And do they know the workouts before they get there? Do they find out on?
Yeah, we sort of drop them online about 3 or 4 weeks ahead of the time, and we give a meaning. But we also show the flow of the workout, just so that when they get there, they know how to do it, best attack it, and all that.
Yeah. And what's it like? Because when I was doing my research, as you said, you've got teams, you've got Pākehā, you've got the masters, beginners, intermediate, and then you've got, I guess, the elites.
Yeah.
So what's it like across the 2 days? Because it went from 1 day to 2 days. That's how big it's gotten. And getting to watch all the different ranges. And as you said, whānau supporting whānau, and just seeing Māori in this space.
Yeah, all shapes and sizes, and so you had some of the best Māori CrossFitters, the best CrossFitters, not just Māori, we had 32 teams at that elite level, which is unheard of unless you're doing like a national competition. Having 32 elite teams is massive. And then in those other the two main categories, intermediate and beginner, there were 55 teams each category, which is, pretty incredible. And some of them had never done CrossFit before. There was one fella, who was doing intermediate. The brother must have just seen the name intermediate and go, oh, that'll be
good.
sweet. I felt sorry for him, man. He didn't know what a snatch was. Anyway, that was crack up, but he had a good laugh and he was just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
But no, it was just cool seeing people at every. The way that the Kapakingi boys explained it to me was like it was like a we all sit on a spectrum of how we went on that journey of hauora and trying to move people along, just like we all sit on a journey with te reo and te ao Māori, trying to move people along on that, and so trying to find a happy medium, trying to bring people along on both those journeys.
Nice.
Like closing the gap, te ramomo.
Yeah. Well, because it's very rare, especially in functional fitness, for a competition to be sort of have Māori, being have those two worlds collide, and so that's sort of what the unique spot that Mātātoa holds, and I think that's why it's popular.
Yeah.
And looking forward, bro, like how he te o ngā akoranga, like are you going to move it around? Because I like that storytelling kōrero, and fearing 50, I know that's when the tainu waka arrived now, like he akoranga tērā. So what's the whakaaro, any kurahuna for the future? You want to keep that in your pocket?
That's that was always the goal, was to take it around, just like matatini. Because you see the value in matatini, it goes around every 2 years. And in the waiata and the kōrero, you're learning about that place. That was always the intention. I think, though, after the weekend, we probably have to spend another year or two in Waikato. And they've been incredible, man. Like, the iwi have been really supportive of the kaupapa. One of the sponsors of the kaupapa too, which has been mean. And only Waikato could be that for us, at the moment anyway. And, Ngāti Whātua were wicked last year, but just different dynamic. Waikato being a bit more central. So we'll probably trial that for another year or two and then look to take it elsewhere. Because, man, like I said, we'd never run a comp before. And so there were so many lessons that we learnt, and we probably need to solidify some of that before we decide to take it around.
Nice. And then now, bro, can you tell us about your everyday mahi that you do up here in Tamaki? Well, actually all around Aotearoa.
Yeah, so I've got a company called Whatanui Creatives. And I suppose it's just trying to use the platform to try and control our own narratives. That's at its core, that's what it is. It's sick of, I suppose, other people telling our stories.
Yeah.
So building up enough of a group where we can sort of start to do it ourselves and do it in a way online that can reach our people, because a lot of it's done in a big long form documentary where most people aren't going to watch it. But if you put it in front of people, then they're more likely to watch it. And I was just really lucky that I joined the Hikoi last year and tagged along with Eru, and that blew the following right up. And so now I've got a bit of a platform, which is me. And I don't, that really appreciative of that. And now it allows me to be able to use that platform to try and impact storytelling. Yeah. Nice.
And do you have any upcoming projects that you can tell us about that you are working on or that we can keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so we've got a doco about the hikoi coming up, a doco and a more digital content. So, yeah, sort of sinking my teeth into that, as well as a couple of digital things that are still sort of in its early stages. Yeah.
Nice, love that. And now looking at your whānau, you spoke about working with your sister, and Api, you shared some what it's like for you guys working with your sisters. But what is it like having whānau that have been so successful in what they do in their own areas? Yeah,
I mean, the last 10 minutes I've been wondering why the hell I'm on this podcast. So
to tell your story, bro.
I mean, my younger sister, the one who was with me during the Mātātoa, she was incredible physically. She owns a couple of gyms.
Yeah.
There's my older sister who owns a massive clothing label.
Brand, yes. You give them a shout out. Tell everyone about it.
Surrounded by people who are really busy and doing, and it's inspiring. Yes, yeah. Just seeing them on their own. We're all really different. and we're all really unique, but we thrive off each other, and we also want to work together.
Yeah, which is cool.
One, I got a pātai, bro, and te taime kua kite, like, in sport, you know, as you would know, playing basketball, it's risk-taking is important, and one, you just said before that this is the first time you decided to run a competition. Where does your kahumaito maiatanga I hea ki te whai I te ao? And koutou ko, you know, teina, tuahine, tuakana, I ahu mai tērā maiatanga I hea.
I think there's he nui tonu ngā whakautu ki te rā pātai, ko te tupu ake I te kura kaupapa I te aho matua tētahi. And another side of that is being spoiled for opportunity from our parents, you know. Never spoiled in terms of valuable little things at home, but we were never declined an opportunity, you know. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for us, is that we look at any situation and we're going, oh man, let's just give it a go. And that's what Mātātoa was literally just her and I going, we're just going to give it our best shot. We're going to bring in the people who we think can really help us achieve it, and just leave it all out there. And I think there's no, it's not rocket science. It was just us trying our best and working hard.
What did the rest of the whānau say when you two said that you were going to take this on?
Yeah, I mean, we're both really busy people, and so it was all very much driven by passion. Yeah, they saw us stressing over the last few months and thought we were a bit crazy and wanted to help out in many ways, but there are a lot of things that they couldn't help out with.
Yeah. And also, you spoke about your parents, so just what the impact that they've had on your guys' lives? Yeah,
I mean, I couldn't ask for, but like Api, you know, our parents have been the very core of everything that we are, and lucky to have my dad as the apex of my life in terms of male sort of role models.
And what a role model to have, right?
And then same with my mum, you know, it's the exact same, is that you know, she is the epitome of mana wahine or wahine toa, all those things. And they never spoiled us as kids in terms of any of the little materialistic things. It was just knowing that in whatever scenario and whatever opportunity that you get, you'll be safe. They can take care of you if you fall on the wrong path, you know, and that every thing in front of you was an opportunity, and that you were safe regardless. So just give it a go. And so I think, you know, that probably at its core was the biggest impact is that safety. And I wish that everyone had that opportunity.
Absolutely. And for you, what was it like growing up, watching your dad and seeing everything that he did and achieved?
Well, the thing about Te Arawa is that it's very heavy on the senior male. And male figures, tū ki te kōrero, tū ki te whai kōrero, and so having him and growing up in Te Arawa, as that person, he was everything that he did. I wanted to emulate, I wanted to replicate. The way that I speak in Te Reo is very similar to the way that he speaks in Te Reo, because that's just the world that I grew up in. And so, of course, he still is my idol and the person I draw most inspiration from. Yeah.
Nice.
Mean. Tētai mea, bro, kua ki te au. I a koe ka kōrero ko te whakatauira mai o mātua. Ki a koe I te tika I te huarahi. And one thing I've seen, you know, with your whānau, you talk about, you know, media's kaupapa. It's about that holistic, you know, te hauora o te tangata. I ahu mai hoki tērā I o koutou mātua. Ko, you know, koutou katoa kei te ao hākin e hāngai ana ki te hauora, and a holistic model. I was seeing something on, you know, your sister's gym, ka karakia I mua I te timata, you know, he Māori rawatu e ra whakaro, like, I ahu mai tērā I a rāua? Or?
Yeah, nā rāua tērā I whakatō. Dad's question is always, how is that going to better impact te ao Māori? You know, and that's in every decision that we make. How is that going to impact our Māori? How is that going to impact our people? How is that going to change the way that our people live their lives? And I think that that's essentially what we try and do, all of us, and everything that we do. Kāri tino tawhiti atu i a koutou.
Gee.
Nice. Such a beautiful kaupapa.
Yeah, I think it's no surprise
Yeah.
that you're all in that holder journey. Like your dad cycling for many Ks, you know, for
Smear your
his,
mare, eh?
yeah, for the smear your mare, and I know, yeah, I've seen your sister's gym down in Hamilton on online, so it's just no surprise that that whole āhua of the Flavells are in that holder space. So yeah, big mihi to them, to the whanaunga.
And he was always really active. Like, we always watched him. You know, when we were younger, he was always running, slow as, but ran regardless. He always come to school with us and played touch with us at school.
Nice.
Yeah, we always just sort of watched him do his thing. And I suppose that's filtered down.
Yeah.
Pātai taku bau, he āhua personal pia tēnei, engari he mea kua whea ko tahi tāua, o tāua mātua, kua pāngia e te matu pukupuku. And pēhea tere, how was that, you know, as a child, when your alpha male, your papa, how I pēhea tana hinengaro, how was his mindset like going through that, that haerenga, as we talk about, you know, Māori development and te hauora, he hits rock bottom, ka tau mai e tērā rongo ki a koutou. How was he through that journey?
Yeah, I mean, that's a... ka hoki ngā mahara ki tērā wā me te marama ko koutou no tērā e kawe ana I tērā toimaha. I remember that so vividly, the call, because we never FaceTime as a whānau altogether, and I remember receiving the call. It was about 7:30 at night, and we were cold as, and I was outside, just finished the workout. I was freezing, shivering, and that's when the news hit us. Instantly, Dad's whakaaro went to, I need to prepare my tangi. You know, and that for us was just a holy heck, what the hell, we're not prepared for this. Because he's the guy.
Yeah. He is.
He's the one.
Yeah.
He's the one in your whole life. You thought he was invincible. You never
Yeah.
thought anything could happen to him. And then, anyway, weeks went by. He had a massive tangi. He's a tangiweto, so he had a massive tangi. And then I was sitting with him, and I started, of course, using the tools that I had, my camera, etc., to try and tell his story. So I was going to make a documentary about someone who goes through cancer. And he said to me, boy, I get that you're trying to make a documentary that's going to take months to produce. Think about all the people who are going to suffer in the time between now and when the documentary is going to be made. Why don't we just start posting it on socials? And so that's what we started doing. Is that he didn't know how to work any of it, Facebook, whatever, but he started posting his journey along. And so even at his lowest, he was still thinking about ways of helping others. Helping them through that journey, and the response, like the hundreds of people who would message him and say, I know someone, or I've just been diagnosed, or I didn't know that that's what you had to do to get tested. I didn't know that about cancer. Those are the sorts of things that he was able to draw from people. But yeah, it was pretty inspiring knowing that even at his lowest, he was trying to help people. Even when he didn't want to get out of bed and stuff, he was trying to help people. Yeah.
And whakapono, just always had that belief.
That was his tauma, Strengthen his, ko tana koi, tana hinengaro. Never had any doubt, and I think I relayed that to Te Atakura, to Te Ao, was that, just maintain that hope. Because as soon as that's gone, ka ngoi kore.
See, and as a people of Te Aroa, like when we saw your dad going through that, like even us from the outside, or whānau from the outside, we could see he didn't look sick. Like he didn't show it, so he did put on a bit of a brave āhua, and then obviously comes out the other end. And mate, every hui or tangi that we've gone to, I've been to a couple lately down home, and he's been there. And the person who's passed has passed from cancer. The last one we just went to in Muripara, and he was there in full half an hour lecture on going to get checked. I was like, right, fuck. Told my cousins next to me, bro, that's us out. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go and do it. So very strong man and very influential down home. So, and how influential is kapahaka to your whānau? Because I know it's a big part.
That's a professional sport now.
Yeah, I was saying, how did that tie in with all the, the functional fitness stuff and stuff that you guys are doing now?
I wouldn't say that Dad's the most coordinated person on the kapahaka scene.
Hey, he excels in other
He
areas.
excels, and I think that filters down to us too. To be honest with you, I love my iwi, and kapahaka is a huge thing within our people. But that didn't quite make it to the Flavells. This branch of the Flavells, I've got heaps of cousins, Flavells from the Te Heke Ngā Arangi who do a mean job, but it didn't quite come down to us. Yeah, I didn't inherit those skills.
Neither, bro, don't worry. Speaking about your whānau and going just back to the haringa that you all went on, what was it like for you guys as a whānau supporting your dad? But then also, like you said, he was always wanting to do something. And how hard is it to try and tell someone like that, it's okay to just rest or, just look after yourself for once?
Yeah, that's probably one thing that we don't talk about enough, is the impact on wider whānau. And that's something that we've experienced, is that it's blooming hard, man.
Yeah.
And especially when you're trying to keep, stay strong for them, etc. So that's something that we had to work through. But the benefit of it is that we now have a plan for if he does cuck it.
It's good to be prepared.
But these are combos that he was driving, He was like, no, we need to talk about my tangi. This is how I'm going to do it. So that's been a positive. But yeah, we had to come together as a whānau. We had to, we met more than ever. As a whānau, we checked in with each other more than ever. And we're just really lucky that my mum's solid. My mum was there. They even bought like a kanjin machine and installed it into our house, because apparently that's what you do.
Waitapu.
So they tried everything and they threw everything at it.
Nice. Yeah, incredible. And thank you for sharing that with us. Right, we're going to switch gears now and get into some of our hākinakina. And at the top, the Black Ferns. Joe, semi-final loss. Oh, you got it right there at the top too. Went down to Canada 34-19. Mind you, we did say don't underestimate Canada last week on the show. Number 2 in the world. They came out from that first whistle. I mean, halftime 24-7. They really questioned the Black Ferns' defence, which they didn't really have any answers, did they?
So I had Canada came to play.
Yeah.
And they were the better team. And not taking anything away from Canada, but I feel the Black Ferns could have done a bit more, had a bit more variety in their game.
Yeah.
They, and see, this is the couch coach, but I feel like I've got enough credentials to have some kōrero on this. But from where I was sitting, I think the Black Ferns relied on their power game a lot. So they just would pass to a forward pod and expect their big girls or big carriers to go forward. But Canada's defence was just solid. And I would have loved to seen a bit of our variety. So like, I don't know, a back at the back and, play out there. It's just to release to go wide. But just that didn't happen. And then, Canada was on their game. They could see our girls were getting tired around the ruck. So they were just, those quick pick and goes, which if you do play rugby, a small bend in the defensive line, sucks everyone in. And then Canada had some awesome backs to finish off. So, big mihi to Canada.
I agree.
But also, a big mihi to our Black Ferns for making the semis. And they've got another game this weekend. Yeah,
they'll play for the bronze medal against France, 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night, Twickenham Stadium. I mean, it's going to be great anyway, so stay up, watch. But what I found interesting, Uppy, was Canada doesn't receive any financial backing from its national organisation. They raise money for their trip to England by crowdfunding which is incredible. I mean, I'm not surprised as a wahine in sport, but the fact that they can achieve this result against a country like Aotearoa, who've got a lot of
Full-time.
funding, who rugby is full-time, rugby is our national sport. I mean, it just shows what, I guess, the Canada team and organisation have created.
Yeah. Tuatai mihi ana ki ngā mamaku Aotearoa, like what the girls did was, have been doing for many years is amazing. So mihi ana ki a rātou, but the Canadian team self-funding, and that's the beautiful thing about sport, I think, is like, if you whakapono, if you believe in something, if you have that, that heart to achieve something, you can. It's just like te koro ki te bro, if you, you take risk and you have whakapono in what you want to do, then you can do anything. And mihi ana ki a Canada.
Yeah.
What they've done is pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Fata, something that I've loved across the Women's Rugby World Cup is the creative side that we've seen from all the teams, what they're putting out there to make us feel connected, not just to our Black Ferns, but across the whole tournament. So as a creative yourself, what have you enjoyed about that in the storytelling that they've been able to do, which I don't think we necessarily see, say, when it comes to the All Blacks, even the NRL, and what, I guess, the women in sport are doing?
Yeah, I think that's how they've sort of won people over, is letting their guard down a bit and showing that they're human.
Yeah.
I thought Ruby too played a massive part in that.
Yes.
And it's,
I reckon she was the original.
That's right, yeah. And so I would love... And we're seeing that across the board, even with sort of Super Rugby teams, NRL teams. People are starting to utilise social media and stuff to create platforms, but also to leverage off them. And so... Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think that the women's rugby, they were sort of the first to sort of do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I got a partai for all of you, though.
Yep.
Does this raise a bigger concern for rugby here in New Zealand when you look the week before the All Blacks had their biggest loss against South Africa, and then our Black Ferns, who were the defending world champions, now lose to Canada? Are we concerned about rugby here in New Zealand?
You should be.
Partai pai.
Up the Riki.
Not women's rugby, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think women's rugby is doing amazing. And, it's more exciting than it ever has been. The calibre of athletes that they have, the physicality of the game, the skill is just amazing. And so I don't think we should be concerned about women's rugby.
Good. I like that answer.
I just don't think we should be concerned at any level, to be honest. Like, Aotearoa's been the pinnacle.
What about Heartland?
That's another subject. No, but, it goes around and every country will have its day, or day in the sun. So I think everyone's just caught up to us.
Yeah.
And as Kiwis or as Aotearoa, we're like shocked that
we're not winning.
That we're not winning, but it's not because we're not
in the sun for
good.
a long time.
But it's not like we're not good or we're not great. It's just everyone else is caught up.
Yeah.
And
which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it is great for the sport.
Again, like Fata said, makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Like, who would expect Canada to be in the final of Women's Rugby World Cup?
Exactly.
I do want to add, though, that in that game, it took 60 minutes before Canada got their first penalty.
60 minutes?
60 minutes. I think the penalty count was 12-0.
To the Black Ferns?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the ref had an influence on the game or...
We would never say that.
No, but the officiating in that first 60 was honestly shocking, terrible. And I don't like blaming refs because I know they got a tough job and they can't see everything, but at that level, you've got 3 extra eyes that can see and can communicate stuff. And nothing, again, from where I was sitting, there was a lot of things happening in the game that... Okay, may not have changed the result, but would have changed some parts of their game.
Or momentum, swings and shifts. And,
just playing the ball on the ground, offsides.
Yeah.
And if the Black Ferns had a few more penalties. Again, they might not have converted those to points, but they would have had those opportunities. And it just seemed like that was taken away from them. But yeah, that's just my little gripe from
Well-
the weekend in that game.
I'd love to now move on to the All Blacks because this weekend they play Australia, Eden Park, 5:05 p.m, so daytime rugby. But this is the
Day rugby.
Bledisloe, and if you didn't know, Joe earlier this year on the show did say he'd like Australia to come and take it,
Yeah,
shall we
to
say,
take it.
come and take the Bledisloe. So how are we feeling?
Nervous, a little nervous. Well, it could work. It could go two ways.
Yeah.
Come off the back of a hiding
Yes.
like that, and we just pump Aussie, or this. I don't know. They have the hang up of Eden Park having that streak. Aussie's coming in pretty hot. So yeah, it'll be interesting. A little bit nervous, but I think the All Blacks should. Because they get a few boys back.
Yeah, they
weekend.
do. So speaking of all of that, so the All Blacks unbeaten at the Fortress of Eden Park for 51 tests. The Wallabies haven't won at Eden Park since 1986. They haven't won the Bledisloe since 2003. And the side will get named on Thursday, but halfback Cam Roigard is set to come back after 2 months out with a fractured foot. Cortez Ratima will be back, and also Cody Taylor and Patrick Tuipulotu. So they should get some good players back, Uppy. And, I mean, when you look at all those stats, the stats are at least on their side.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we go, especially after hiding like that, and our record at our fortress. So,
like I said, Aussie Tamariki haven't seen that cup. Haven't seen that cup, bro.
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Although what I'm looking forward to in that match, the matchup, so Suali'i, and depending who
plays there.
who plays against him, I hope it's Rico. Just Rico gives us a bit more go forward.
So he'll come back into the side.
I hope so. Either on the wing, and then they use Leonard Brown
Okay.
against Suali'i, but I think they need another big body because Joseph's carving in the midfield for Aussie. And Harry Wilson, their number 8 against Artie.
Yep.
I hope that'll be a good matchup. And our back three, I don't know who they're
they'll
picking,
pick.
but the Aussie back three are pretty sharp too.
Yeah.
They got some young speedsters, and if Suali'i can get it to them,
Yeah.
we could be in trouble.
And they do play pretty up tempo, and they're playing
Pretty
exciting
quick.
rugby at the moment. Fata, your thoughts on the All Blacks, where they're at the moment, and how they'll go on the weekend?
No, these games are the ones that I look forward to the most.
Same.
And when they've got something to get back, they're mana.
And sometimes that's a worse position to be when you are, say, Australia. You're coming up against the All Blacks, who I guess, like we said, hungry, and got a big hiding. So I think it's going to be very exciting.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Although we got short memories there. Like South Africa gave us a hiding last year, or last week, but we were quick to forget that we gave them a hiding like just a few years ago at Mount Smart. So, and then everyone's like, "Oh, the All Blacks are they're not the same as they used to be." I was like, "Bro, no one's the same.
Everyone's caught up.
Yeah, everyone's caught up, and it's only one game.
Yeah.
Like we won one, they won one, safe."
You know what I want to know
Yes.
is when the All Blacks lose, how much of our 6-7 million population are actually sad? How much do you reckon, bro? Actually care about the All Blacks?
Oh, yeah. That's changed heaps over the last sort of 10 years.
What, 10 years ago, do you reckon what?
Well, the more would have
19.
been.
More would have been.
90%?
Oh, not quite that many, eh?
Oh,
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Cuz?
I reckon there's a huge number that wouldn't be sad.
well, let's talk iwi. There's 100,000 Nazis. I reckon 99,000 Nazis would be sad when the All Blacks lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how much
Okay.
my iwi loves rugby.
I don't know how many is we're 7,000 for Ngāti Whātua. I'll tell you now. Not all of them would. Not all of them care about
Just 20.
because they're all
Yeah, te arawa, bro.
leagueies. They're all leagueies.
Yeah, definitely not the same as Ngāti Porou in terms of that, that passion for rugby. It's definitely there. It used to be way more, you know, when you had the big clubs, Waikite and all that, Noa Taha really strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
No, me either.
What about Tainui?
Well, I don't know about Tainui, but I know like with my hapu, like we're a big league.
League, eh?
So-
Tani Wharau,
Yeah.
Maruawahi.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
said
we'd
it'd be
still be
very-
sad and we
Just
still
Ngāti
support
Porou.
it.
All good.
Yeah.
Next go.
I'd say as a nation it'll be quite low. Maybe the South Island will pick up the numbers because they're
Definitely.
very
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
very rugby focused down there. You got
They do love it.
Crusaders and the Highlanders. Now Otago's carving, so I reckon you get your hardcore who are
Yeah.
from South, maybe a little bit of the North Island, but then the rest are be a handful.
Well, speaking of Otago, didn't they win the
They won the
Ranfurly
Shield, won the Shield.
which is pretty
That's moving
incredible.
around this
Oh
season,
yeah,
holy
it's been
heck,
on the move.
It's on a journey.
Like the Bill Osborne. It's been on the move.
Just before we move on from rugby, James O'Connor has received an SOS call from Joe Schmidt to come into the squad. But what was interesting about this is James O'Connor flew to England last week, got there, got the call and had to turn
come back.
around and come all the way back. So he's done like 51 hours of flying and then has to prepare for a test match, which I guess isn't the greatest preparation, but I feel like if anyone,
I was just about to say, if
won't,
anyone
won't
can do it,
affect them,
yeah.
it's probably him,
Yeah.
right, Joe?
He was in business class anyway. So he'll be all good.
How old is that boy? He's older than me, man.
He was 30, he'd be 30 something, would he?
Maybe. Yeah.
He's
in
been
his
around
early
for
30s.
ages.
Yeah.
He'll be
But
all
yeah.
good.
Yeah, he'll be all good. If anyone can do it, he can.
And I think we spoke about it earlier on the podcast this year too, about just his journey. He's said he's learned a lot, but also being at the Crusaders, I think it's a very smart move from the Wallabies to bring him in for these tests against the All Blacks.
I heard have inside knowledge too.
Yeah.
Having played Super Rugby here. It'll be exciting. I'll be watching at home.
Nice.
Missed out on tickets again.
Oh, surely.
Bloody Iwi tickets.
Yeah, surely the Iwi's got some for you.
No pool. Shit.
Next, we had the Silver Ferns play on the weekend. They beat South Africa 77-51.
Nice.
As a ex-player and as a netball fan, I was very happy for the team. I think they were dominant. They silenced a lot of outside noise with everything that's been going on. I think it was all class from a vet, Liana, who were called in to take over in the coaching roles. Their captain, Carden, she stepped in as captain, and I just think that's exactly what the Silver Ferns needed to do, because they've been under the pump and they just had to come out and make a statement, which they did.
Yeah. It's been a huge talking point on the show,
Yeah.
netball.
Well, and everywhere in the media, and I don't think
Yeah.
people quite understand the effect it can have, or it has had on the team, because obviously they're dealing with it inside, but then they've had just the outside noise coming
Yeah,
at them. And we don't all really know what has happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's had a big effect on them.
Yeah, no, it was good to see a performance like that. Them just deal to South Africa, and good to see Grace back.
Yeah.
Good to see her back.
58 from 66.
Yeah,
Incredible.
she's unreal.
Which up here earlier in the year, we spoke about that Netball New Zealand might not even going to let her play this year because she went and played in Australia, and then she comes out and puts on a performance like that.
Yeah, she's gold. She's like the Irene Van Dyke of this generation.
She is,
so-
yeah.
Remember her, Kel?
Toro me ai taki tū. Kei tuku o mai e whātai.
Oh, la, beautiful. Me ana ki ngā rarau hiriwa. Our Silver Ferns, what a way to come back. And who they got next? Court.
Same.
So South Africa this week, thanks for reading the rundown. They got 2 more tests against South Africa. in Napier and Invercargill. Then they'll have a slight break, and then they'll take on Australia for the Constellation Cup. Basketball's big in your whanau whata, but how about netball, Silver Ferns, supporters, get behind them?
Yeah. Just generally, whenever there's a game, we tend to watch it as a whanau, or when we were growing up anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, basketball was the big game.
Yeah.
Generally watch rugby just because everyone else did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And it's been great to see the growth of basketball here in New Zealand, and we've had basketballers on the show. It's been incredible to hear their journeys. But yeah, we wish the Silver Ferns all the very best for their upcoming tests. All right, on to the NRL, Joe. We're used to seeing you in a green jersey, but you've got a different one on.
No, what happened to this one?
But the Panthers did beat the Bulldogs 46-26. Moses Leota played 200 games, which is an incredible feat, especially as a front rower. The Panthers, my hometown team, going for a 5-peat. They'll play the Broncos this Sunday. What do you reckon, Joe?
That'd be a good game. Repeat of what year? What final?
Yeah, the grand final.
Yeah.
Was it 2
2
years
years ago?
Yeah.
Tough though, because both teams are sort of peaked at the right time. Broncos, they don't have Kerrigan. So
No, Paddy's out. Reese will be there.
All for wharepaku white. Yeah, it'd be a good game. I'm going to go for the Panthers.
Obviously.
Yeah, just my team number 2. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see the game sort of kind of like that the Raiders Broncos game that week before.
What, like double extra time?
No,
or
we'll just push to the limit because both teams have got awesome players and players that can win a game.
Yeah.
So Broncos have Walsh.
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary's peaking at the right time now, and everyone just seems to know what to do when he's got the ball. So, and that's what he did to the doggies the other night.
Put on masterclass.
Yeah, there's a dark horse coming, and I said it a few weeks ago. Watch out for the Sharks. They're coming, I reckon. They're peaking at the right time, and it's all about at this stage of the competition. It's all about the momentum.
Yeah.
And a bit of luck. You know, they've got a pretty full strength squad, so keep an eye out for the Sharks. How whakaaro, bro?
Karawi mataki.
Yeah.
But I want to send this time. I want to send a massive mihi out to my old man. He's mourning because his Bulldogs.
Oh,
he's
doggy
a
supporter.
massive doggy supporter, and I think he just supports
Does he like
the doggies.
Is he jumping?
You can come and join us over here.
Yeah, I think he just supports the doggies because he likes to wind the Warriors supporters up. But he's been kicked out, and he was having a sulk the other day on Facebook. So I hope he's all good.
I was in mourning Saturday night watching the Raiders.
Well, Raiders lost to the Sharks 32-12. As you said, Uppy, the Sharks look good. The Raiders' defence, they couldn't really stop the Sharks. But I think it looked like it was hard for them after playing that double extra time where they thought they won twice.
Short
the games.
turnaround.
Yeah, short turnaround. Just tough for them to get up, I feel.
And as an athlete, you don't want to have that as an excuse, like the short turnaround. Like we spoke about with the netballers, that you signed up to be in the sport, so you sign up to everything that comes. So I'm not like I do mihi to the Sharks because they both halves, Nico and Trindle were like unreal.
They were. And the kicking game.
Yeah, their kicking game was unreal, which the Raiders just couldn't counter. And they did look tired, but you know, that shouldn't be an excuse.
Just to add to that, that's the beautiful thing about sport. Like, you know, they were the minor premiers, dominated. I know even whatever level of sport you play at, grassroots, under 10s, you could go undefeated all year and then get beaten. Everyone loves an underdog, so that's why we love sport. You know, so sometimes you can get the fairy tale, and sometimes you just run out of
wasn't a weekend of sport, bro.
Our two alliances don't line up.
Well, the Sharks, they'll play Melbourne this Friday night. still waiting to hear if Jerome Hughes will play, which I think will be a big difference for the Storm if he is there in the halves. But Uppy, you spoke about undefeated runs. New South Wales Cup, the Warriors beat Parramatta 42-14. They were the minor prem, so they'll play St George in the grand final this Sunday, which should be live on Sky Sport, I'm assuming. And then if they win, they'll play the winner of the Q Cup on grand final day. But earlier this year, New South Wales Cup Warriors, they beat the Dragons in round 7, 40-12. Then it was a draw in round 22. And then they played them in the first final just 2 weeks ago and lost 24-10. So as minor prems, they probably weren't the underdogs, but then having lost to them 2 weeks ago, 24-10. But I mean, they've had an incredible season, the New South Wales Cup Warriors.
Yeah. Shout out to one particular player, Kalani Going.
Yeah.
I think he was the Player of the Year this year.
For the Warriors, and then he got New South Wales Cup Player of the Year as well.
And he's been a constant in that team for the last few years.
Yeah.
And I know, as a player, you're aiming to get into the NRL squad, but for him to stay that long and perform and be a leader in that space, I know it's not easy. So I hope he gets a grand final ring this weekend, and no doubt they'll be up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Warriors will have Tanner Boyd, Sam Healy, Ali Leatoa, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Tane Tuopiki, Bunty Afoa, Kalani Going, Jet Cleary, Tom Ale. And the Dragons, they've got Lachlan Ilias in the halves, Ben Murdoch-Masila off the bench. So it's going to be a tough game all around, especially we spoke about peaking at the right time, and really the Dragons are the ones peaking. So it's going to be interesting. Pata, does your dad at least support the New South Wales Cup was?
Yeah, I think he more supports the Doggies just to wind up the Warriors supporters, to be honest.
So all those players can play because they had to play New South Wales Cup during the year, eh?
Yeah, they play New South Wales Cup during the year, and then there's so many games to
yeah.
qualify to be able to play.
You can't do the old, we're out of the top 8.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Stack our teams.
Yeah, exactly. James Fisher-Harris, you're back in New South Wales Cup. But no, so that should be a good one. So we wish them all the very best. UFC Perth this weekend, and it's led by, it's a stacked Kiwi and Australian card, but Carlos Ulberg will be fighting. He's the main event. He's ranked number 3 in the light heavyweight, coming up against Dominic Reyes, who's ranked number 7th. But they're saying if Carlos wins this, then he will get a shot at the title, or he's not far off being the number 3 contender. But other Kiwis on the card, Justin Tarfa in the heavyweight, Navajo Sterling, light heavyweight. Cameron Rosen will make his debut after being in the Contender Series and getting elevated to the UFC. And Brando Pericic, who fights out of CKB, and Michelle Montag. But I think it's great that we have such a huge representation. We've seen, I guess, I don't want to say the past generation, but we've seen the New Zealand MMA fighters create that pathway. And now it's great that we can have so many Kiwis and Māori on this card representing us in the UFC and being a headline act, Uppy.
Yeah, definitely. That city kickboxing has sort of led the way the last few years, and we're seeing more and more of our uri get into the sport.
Yeah.
And we had Edu Kapakingi on a few weeks ago, and just like to pass the part-time, would you be keen to do one of those 20-week courses?
No, bro.
Kono anō.
I look at Edu. I went and watched him fight.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And the brother wasn't fighting the man in front of him. He was fighting the man's tupuna. The brother was Pākehā, and I go, fuck, I feel sorry for him, mate. The brother was fighting someone from that come over on the Endeavour or something. I was going, bro. And he was just the whole, because they did 3 rounds, the whole time he was just going for a man. Yeah, so, but nah, it's a short answer, nah. I just haven't got it in me.
Not even for a good kaupapa?
Nah.
You know your strengths. Know your strengths. Or you'll do the doco on it.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
There you go. Sign them up. You heard it first.
Joe, you?
I've always thought about doing
Really?
it. But, yeah, I'm like the bro. I don't know if...
Yeah.
It's growing,
There's some
eh?
big heavyweights. I'll be
Yeah.
the way I'm at, the current weight I'm at now would be like a super heavyweight. I don't feel like jumping in the ring with a super heavyweight.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my thing. It's
Well,
like,
you want to fight a lightweight or...
I'll get, no, like, you know, there's like a middle ground.
yeah, the weight class, if I was to jump into a fight, just
yeah.
be with stocky ass,
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
just a big ass boy.
Yeah.
Nah, bugger that.
What was that event like, going and watching, and I guess watching someone that you are so close to also get in the cage and just having to go at it?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, and you'd be surprised that, you know, it was 20 weeks. You'd be surprised at how advanced all those the fighters were. You know, sometimes you go to a charity boxing match and you're like,
Ooh,
yeah.
bro just got off the couch.
Yeah, I'll
with
do
these-
one of those.
Yeah.
Charity boxing with the bro that got off the couch.
Yeah. But with those fellas, man, they were all really skilled, and it shows how much effort and time the CKB team put into those fellas. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's a testament to CKB as a brand.
absolutely.
Like, I think one of the guys that's fighting under their gym moved from Aussie, like left his whanau from Aussie.
Brando Perchich.
Yeah, to come and train under
The best.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are heaps of Māori sort of doing jiu-jitsu now. And,
Yes.
you know, it's
Yeah.
it's growing massively.
Yeah. And a lot of people are putting their tamariki into it as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
just to learn the discipline and everything like that, which I think is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. Okay, before we're almost finished, and we usually finish with a sharp as or sharpen up moment of the week, so I'll give everyone time to think about that. And I'll just,
I didn't get that memo.
Sharpen up.
but you'll get the gist of it, bro. But before we do that, whilst you guys think about it, I'll just run through some other great achievements that we have had across the weekend. So we've had the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, and it's been New Zealand's most successful athletics world champs. George Beamish got gold in the men's steeplechase. Hamish Kerr got gold in the high jump. Matty Wesh just recently got bronze in the shot put. Samoa made history with Alex Rose winning Samoa's first ever global athletics medal. He got bronze in the discus, which I think is just incredible. And in the F1, Kiwi Liam Lawson got his career best finish.
Top 5.
Yeah, top 5, P5. So just a big mihi to all of them. Oh, some local sport, Api. With Ngāti Pro Wahine.
Oh, yeah, no. Unfortunately, our Hamoterangi ladies lost
only just
Heartland
though.
final
Just
against
though, yeah.
Wanganui. So, mihi ana ki a Wanganui, ngā wahine o Wanganui, and I heard it was a great great game. Yeah.
How did
And it was pretty cool to see after the game. Both teams mixed and mingled.
Yeah.
Did they do a line
And
dancing?
they did a line dance on the
Yeah.
floor,
Yeah.
on the field.
Yeah.
I did see that, and I was like, that's how different the wahine game and the male game
Yeah.
We
is.
just spoke about it. Yeah,
Yeah, like
the Breevers would never do that.
the bros wouldn't go and kani on the field with the opposition.
Well, if you guys are
With a
playing
loss.
this weekend, maybe.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe, no?
Can't. Injured. How did the boys go?
No comment. That was another lesson for the brothers. I didn't play in the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we play Bulla away this weekend. So
Nice. So another week.
another
It's
week.
not an easy travel to Bulla,
Yeah.
but yeah, good luck, boys.
Gee.
So my sharp as moment for the week goes to Georgia Miller and Braxton Sorensen McGee, our Black Ferns. They are up for awards at the World Rugby Awards. So they're both nominated for 15's Breakout Players of the Year. As we know,
Man.
Braxton Sorensen McGee has been the highest try scorer in the Women's Rugby World Cup at the moment. And Georgia Miller is also up for 15's Player of the Year. So they are my sharp as moments, and a big mihi to them and the Black Ferns for everything they've achieved and getting regarded on the highest stage in world rugby. And
Yep.
so we'll be following to see how they go and if they win those taonga.
Come boy. Sharp as moment. It's not sports related, but it goes to my tama, Yuzi James. Had his we mentioned he had his PP kōrero a few weeks ago, and just last week they had their tuku taonga, and he came away as junior pito kōrero.
Me.
So he won the junior section of his kōrero. So yeah, sharpen up to the little man. Proud moment for Papa because I wasn't learning that at 5 and being able to stand up in front of your peers and deliver a whai kōrero or a kōrero like that. Yeah.
Miki. My sharp as moment was all over social media, and I was meant to be our guest from last week. But I think it was 150 jerk, was it? Yeah. And I was like, what do you call that, bro? When
Clean.
You
Clean and jerk.
Clean.
but there's different movement. There was
Complex.
Like a complex, yeah. How to be Māori into complex?
Aua.
That was cool. That was pretty cool.
150.
150, bro. He jumped from 120 straight to 150, and the next closest was 137 or 140.
What was the complex?
It was a clean, a front squat, and a hand clean.
Oh, yeah. And had he done
clean.
that before?
Eh?
Had he done that?
Yeah, I saw him do it in training, so he knew what his number
so he
was.
knew he could go for it.
Yeah, but he's insane, man. He's the
Yeah.
strongest guy I know. But he's also probably the fittest guy I know, and all the other things as well. He can do that complex 150 and then go and run a marathon. You know, just insane.
He can do all that but not sort out his internet.
Not pay his Wi-Fi bill.
I don't really ever sharpen up. I sharp as, but I ever sharpen up,
Yeah.
and that goes to Montau too. He completed their complex, and then what wasn't a part of that complex was the jerk. He goes and does it. That's a show to everyone. Yeah, boy. They should have given him a no rep, and he should have been. That shouldn't have counted. But the head judge Ben didn't have the balls to do it. Anyway, that's my sharpen up moment.
So he's sharp as in sharpen up. Oh, amazing. Well, Mihiana Kikwe, we thank you so much for joining us, sharing all about your kaupapa, but also your whanau as well, and letting us in on all of that. So we thank you for joining us, taking your time out and to share your time with us.
Ka pai, tēnā koe, tēnā koe te.
Nice. Also, thank you to all of our listeners and our sponsors, Beard Brothers and also Groove Bar. It's another weekend of sport at Te Whānau.
Another weekend.
And we'll see you all, Aotearoa Wiki.
Aye.
Right,
Up the Panthers.
Up the Sharks.